It's strange to me that they aren't mentioned in the same breath as the other big dogs because I feel like Prime Video should be considered a big dog of the streaming services. But let me know what you think. Should Prime Video be talked about more? Are people sleeping on Prime Video? That's kind of the thought here. I'd like to know your takes. What's good, good people? Welcome back to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking the thumbnail. My name is Corey, and today we're going to be talking about Prime Video and why I think some people are kind of sleeping on it. Let's get to it. So my algorithm, when it comes to my YouTube shorts, my Instagram page, my Facebook page, when I look at the internet, I tend to see chatter about lots of things that are related to anime, movies, TV shows. And when I hear people talk about what's good to watch, the number one service that people refer to is going to be Netflix. After that is going to be Disney Plus, Hulu, or maybe HBO Max. Those are like the order or the arrangement in which people talk about streaming services. And they always asking that question, what's good to watch, what to watch on those services. But nobody asks what's good on Prime Video. And it's crazy because Prime Video has a lot to offer when it comes to premium television and movies. Over the course of this past year, 2022, I was able to look and just kind of track what were people buzzing and talking about. And there's like 3 times during last year that Prime Video shows kind of dominated my timelines, whether it was Twitter or Instagram. And it was when The Boys was out, it was when Terminal List was coming out, and it was when the Reacher series was coming out. Those 3 times when those series were out in 2022, that is when people were talking about the shows. But it's weird, they were talking about the shows, but they weren't talking about the services. They never mentioned that this is on Prime Video. It's like, man, you need to watch Reacher. Nobody asked where to watch it. Or people would say like, man, Terminal List is actually quite fire. But nobody talked about where to find Terminal List. And that's one of the things that kind of prompted me to make this video. I'm personally coming off a stellar season of Jack Ryan, season 3. Amazon Prime has consistently put out pretty good Jack Ryan shows. Season 1 was stellar. Season 2 was a bit of a drop off, but season 3, in my opinion, was a return to form. I originally started writing up this video with the thought I'm going to talk about Jack Ryan. And then I thought I actually need to talk about Amazon Prime because Amazon Prime is home to Hunters, which is a series that just got a season 2 dropped on Prime Video. You have the Reacher series, as aforementioned. You have Jack Ryan, which I'm going to talk about a bit more. You also have The Boys, which I do watch-alongs for, and I'm enjoying The Boys. Every single season just gets more and more debaucherous. You also have Invincible, which I believe came out in 2021. But Invincible was probably the best animated show of that year. I want to say bar none. It was just very, very well done. So it's weird. It has multiple good shows that many people talk about massively all over the internet. Yet they don't have a service that's on the tip of people's lips. And I feel like that kind of need to change. I wanted to take a moment and talk more about Jack Ryan season 3 because of the shows that I mentioned, Jack Ryan is probably one of the more underrated ones, and it doesn't get a whole lot of buzz, not nearly as much as Reacher or Terminal List did. And I feel like all 3 of those would be in similar categories. When I think about Jack Ryan though, season 3 was better than season 2. And season 1 is still kind of the standout among those. I like the fact that the relationships were incredibly memorable to me in season 3. The fact that you had a father-daughter, spoilers here, a father-daughter relationship that was manufactured really in sacrifice for the sake of I love my country. Man, that was rough to see it kind of revealed. Like, who loves the country that much that they would sacrifice their relationship with their daughter? But the main guy in that series, season 3, he did that. He put his daughter out there like as a piece of bait and used her, manipulated her pretty much her whole life. And the reveals of everything and the way things was kind of layered and then peeled back, marvelously done. I really, really enjoyed season 3 of Jack Ryan. Maybe I'm making the overall point of this video in a bit of ignorance because maybe just because people don't say it, don't mean they're not supporting it. But I feel like Prime Video needs to be talked about more. I feel like people are kind of sleeping on Prime Video. That's the thought that I have coming away with. Jack Ryan, season 3, phenomenal. And again, a plethora of shows that I just mentioned. I would think this would be something that people would talk about a lot, and they just don't. The one benefit to them not having a whole bunch of press and a whole bunch of buzz when it comes to their network would probably be their duds. Now, I'm saying that in a position of not really knowing any of the duds associated with Prime Video. But we all know the duds associated with Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, and HBO Max. When a show comes out and people don't like it on those platforms, it seems to me like they're a bit more vocal about disliking it. I think specifically to Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus. Mandalorian is great, big hit. Boba Fett was not so great, big failure. Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, all good little shows that came out on Disney Plus. People buzzed about them the entire run that they were being aired. But then at the same time, you have like She-Hulk, that is a huge bomb for Disney Plus. Netflix and their approach, I feel like they generate a lot of duds, but there's so much there, so much available to sift through that you might find something that you enjoyed, then you latch on to, but only to find out it was canceled after season 1. And I can think of at least 2 shows. One of them was called I Am Not Okay. That was a show that I kind of discovered on Netflix toward the end of its run. And right when I got through it and I enjoyed it, it's like, oh, it's not coming back for another season. And I was like, that's disappointing. And they have a lot of stuff like that. I think of specifically for them, their biggest dud of last year, though, was the Resident Evil thing that they tried to do. That did not pan out well. And that was pretty widely known and accepted. Like, hey, this is a bad one from Netflix. HBO Max has been knocking it out the park to a certain extent because they had Peacemaker at the beginning of last year. Huge show, did really good. Had everybody buzzing like, man, it's one of the best shows to come out in that year. But currently, right now, they are experiencing the downside, the backlash with the Velma Scooby-Doo take that they're doing, the animated show. And it's like people are bashing that right now. They're very vocally bashing it on my timeline, in my algorithm. I'm seeing people talking about it negatively. So maybe Prime Video benefits from being slept on, and maybe nobody really talks about their losses. But it's strange to me that they aren't mentioned in the same breath as the other big dogs, because I feel like Prime Video should be considered a big dog of the streaming services. But let me know what you think. Should Prime Video be talked about more? Are people sleeping on Prime Video? That's kind of the thought here. I'd like to know your takes. That's all I have, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.